Dubois goes on to speak about his victory over Anthony Joshua. And he goes on to say that he feels good. He feels vindicated. He said a lot of people said that he was going to get knocked out and he was going to get hit with the right hand. But he said, you see who got knocked out. And he just said it feels good to prove everybody wrong because everybody doubted him. And I must admit, he proved me wrong. No doubt. That was a very good performance from Daniel. He also goes to talk about the win over Anthony Joshua, saying that, look, it don't matter what Anthony Joshua was going to throw at me. You know what I'm saying? I was going to come through either way, you know? And that speaks on the determination and the poise that you've seen in Daniel Dubois. Like I said, he was just a better fighter that night. Like I said, if that guy can always show up, then he's definitely going to be a problem, you know? But he said it didn't matter what Anthony Joshua was going to do that night. He was determined that he was going to win. He said he had family and God on his side. He said so it didn't matter. He was going to see through it, you know? And that's a good attitude to have, especially coming into a fight like that, one of the biggest fights of your life. And it showed, you know? It really showed. They go on to ask him about what's next for him, and Daniel speaks on wanting another fight with Alexander Usyk. He wants to avenge that loss and, you know, set that right. You know, he also got his eyes on Tyson Fury. I'm actually all for it. You know, whatever makes interesting fights, I'm down for that. Whether he wants to fight Fury, whether he wants to fight Usyk next, or, you know what I'm saying, however it may be, you know, he's going to have to take some other fights before that can happen. But yeah, I say send him right on up there, you know, put him through the test, let him go through the guys that he needs to go through, because at this point in time, Daniel has had a good year, you know, he has had a good comeback year. I think he had like 3 or 4 fights, you know, and he's looking good and he's looking confident, and I'm interested to see where it goes from here. This adds another equation to the whole undisputed thing. You know, I'm still trying to settle that. And what I mean by undisputed, although we have an undisputed champion, it's still uncertain who's actually, you know, to me, who's the best, because you have scenarios like this. You have scenarios where Usyk beat Joshua, but the new version of Anthony Joshua that we're getting, would that be the same outcome? Most people say, man, it is what it is. He beat him twice. Well, in that case, Usyk has already beat Daniel, so we don't need to revisit that again. But at the same time, was that this version of Daniel that we seen fighting Anthony Joshua? Does that version beat Usyk? We don't know. That's why people ask the questions, and that's why people want to see fights, you know? So all that is basically up in the air. It can turn on a dime. This is the heavyweight division. So I'm interested to see where he goes from here. You know, whether he's rematching Anthony Joshua, which I don't suggest Anthony Joshua do at this time. You know what I'm saying? Probably not at all, because at this point, I really don't see him beating him. You know, I'm just going to be frank and honest about it. You know, he's going to need some time. He's going to need some more development, you know, before that happens, and understand why he keep going into fights, important fights, with the wrong game plan. But as far as Daniel goes, man, the sky's limit. The kid's looking good. He was able to knock off that stigma that he had behind his name, whether they thought that he wasn't tough or he wasn't this, or you know, he wasn't, you know, he wasn't good enough to compete at the elite level. But basically, he shut everybody up and he answered all the questions. So it's just forward from here. I'm interested to see what he could do next. So with that being said, what would you like to see next from Daniel? What is the next fight you would like to see him in? Or what is the big fights that you would like to see him in? I would actually like to see Daniel versus Tyson a little bit more than I want to see Usyk, because we already seen that, although I'm with the Usyk fight. And I have no doubt that he's going to get some pushback for wanting another Usyk fight for obvious reasons you already know. But I would really want to see him get at Tyson. And you know what? Hell, screw it. I would want to see a rematch with Anthony Joshua too. You know what I'm saying? Whatever gets us fights, whatever us get us entertainment, because it's one thing about this sport that we had discovered. It is not a sport. It may be a lot of things, but the last thing, it is a sport. So the only thing that matters is the spectacle fight and the people who we want to see fight. I thought about belts mattered and all that other stuff. It really doesn't at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, you just have to go for your entertainment factor. And I would love to see Daniel versus Fury, you know, but I would also like to see Fury versus Anthony Joshua. I would also like to see Joshua versus Usyk again. I would like to see Usyk versus Daniel Dubois again. I think all of these guys should fight multiple times. The division is small enough, they can do it, and why not? So tell me what you think. What do you see next for Daniel? What would you like to see Daniel do or fight? And how high do you see his ceiling going? Is this just a freak performance? Is this something that we're going to consistently see from him? Or is he going to fall off the next fight later? Who knows? But leave your thoughts in the comment section. Bruce Vane, I'm out.